Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a new series. It's a little something different. I will be debating people on Omegle, out of all places, about the ethics of OnlyF and pornography. Everybody involved in debating is over 18 years of age and consents to be part of the video.
You look like you stream your own TikTok live, aren't you?
I'm not.
No, you are. That mic is too high quality.
My statement is that pornography is bad for society.
I mean, in a sense, I believe it is correct, but in a way, I also feel like if it's only bad, no, because it's only bad in my opinion, if it's like, right now they done a ban, right? So it's only 18 plus.
Yeah.
But it's bad, like, to like, if you're, like, your mental's already, do you get off, I'm trying to debate, but shut up, let me debate. Okay, cool. With like, yeah, it's only bad if your mental's already like let's say I was like a millionaire hypothetically, yeah, and let's say I'm just there, and like obviously if I have a goal then it's kind of yeah, but like let's say you're just single, yeah, and you're like, the quickest way to get a nut down is realistically by watching a visual image. Do you get it? You're not gonna be like, oh, or imagination, like, no, you'd rather watch a video. In that sense it's good, but in the sense of like what, like 10-year-olds are corrupted to think like that, then it is. But yeah, in majority of the sense I do agree with you.
Okay,
do you have another topic?
No. So you just said that it's only bad if you have like a bad mental state, right? But isn't that only considering then the damage that it does to, I'm assuming you're talking more about like men and their use, right? You can't say is bad only if you have a bad mental state, because that doesn't take into consideration the fact that the majority of people watching probably do have like mental issues, right? And the average age that people access being 11 and a half years old.
Well, they can still do that. Also, they have like, you have to verify now.
Well, that's what it was before.
How I know that.
That was before. That was the average age before they had the age verification thing. But the consumption of it doesn't take away the, I guess, the negatives of the production. So, you know, the women in it. Even if you're mentally sane, right? So whether you watch or not, and you're mentally like okay, you might be mentally normal. I don't know. Maybe not. But what about the people in the that you're watching? What about the women? What about the way that you view women now that you watch?
Yeah, okay, I hear that. I do get that, because I feel like the one thing I will agree with is that it does make like men as a whole, unless some girls watch it as well, finger themselves, whatever, cool. But like, listen, because I know some girls who like do it. Do you get? But like with a guy, like if you're seeing like, oh, stepsister, I'm stuck in a washing machine, and it's just it's just more like lust over love. Do you get? It's like no, like you have to like.
Yes,
get what I'm trying to say?
But it's not just about that though. It's about the actual women in the industry and what happens to them after they do. Because realistically, like,
but what happens to them?
Most of them end up like, if you think about all the big stars.
Big porn stars.
Yeah, so you think about Mia Khalifa and Lana Rhoades and maybe not Riley Reid. I'm pretty sure she still does it, but they all have really negative to say, and they can't move on from it either because everyone's always like clowning on them. Like I follow Mia Khalifa on Instagram, and all her comments always like, "Oh, you can never forget," blah blah blah. So like,
yeah, but then at the end of the day, if they are saying something negative about them, like obviously people change over time, yeah, but like they realistically went into the industry for a quick bag. Like they went in there for like money. They went in for the sake of like easy money. You get easy way out. So like obviously there's gonna be like consequences, but there's consequences to anything in life.
Yeah,
like,
but
for example,
I wouldn't say it's easy money though. Having like, it seems easy, whatever you think about having like that's easy, but having on a set is not the same as just having. Like, it's just acting. And I wouldn't actually argue that it is that easy. I mean, like, most people might think that if they're working, like, NHS jobs and they're working all day. But the fact that they did it for money in the first place, would you not argue that that is the issue? Because if it was easy enough to get money and jobs paid enough and people didn't have to go into the industry for money, then a lot of people wouldn't do it. People aren't going into it for free. They're doing it because they're young girls and they don't have any money. They think it's easy.
Yeah, and like sellouts here and that.
Yeah, and they don't. Half of these people that go in the industry and then they leave, they say that they didn't know what they were getting themselves into fully. Like, obviously, they knew they were going to do.
But I agree. But what I meant by sellouts is like people who like sell their soul to the devil. Do you get it? Like,
are you religious?
I would like to think so, but like not like I'm not like strict. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But, like,
see, I don't believe in any of that.
But I do feel like, especially like let's say like with like not the industry but links, yeah. Like let's say in music, yeah. For example, like I do like rap, but there's some rappers like obviously the music, if it's good, I'll listen to it, yeah. But one rapper I could say that is 100% demonic, whether you like him or not, is Carti.
I don't listen to. Yeah.
You don't listen to Carti?
No.
Nah, okay. So like,
but I think a lot of people say that about Doja Cat though, and I literally just don't buy any of that. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think Lil Nas X is a sellout?
What do you mean by sellout?
Do you think he sold his soul?
No. Oh, come on. People said the same thing about Sam Smith as soon as
I don't know who Sam Smith is, unfortunately.
Well, this is what people say as soon as people do anything that's like out there. That's what people say about Doja Cat when she did that music video.
So would you say, yeah, is like also like workers with whether wait, is it harder to do that than it is, let's say, work a 9 to 5 or like anything like really like music, anything? Do you think it's hard? Or like what's your like?
I don't think they're really comparable, because as much as obviously it's called the work industry, I don't think they're comparable, because I would argue that, I mean, people say that like work is real work, right? And I mean, partially I do disagree with that, because I feel like half of the people that do it are like exploited. That's why they come out of it and they're all like mentally f***ed up. Like you work at Tesco, you do a 9 to 5 at Tesco, you're not going to come out of it like mentally scarred. You could work there for 10 years and you're not going to be like all f***ed up. It
also depends what age you are, because like I feel like now, whether you agree or not, wait, how old are you? Like I'm guessing 20 something.
22.
So like, for example, I feel like nowadays, even like with like, even I'm sure you agree, because you're like you are older than me, but like in a way, like I feel like your people like in your age group are still the same. I feel like now it's like, bro, it's so like people are expected to be like, oh, like you have to have everything figured out by like certain age because of social media. Like especially like nowadays, like even like with me, it sometimes gets to me like it's like, oh, you get to a point in life, yeah, and you're like and you're just not like made it in life, and you just start like comparing yourself to social media like that, like la 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 la. So like same way in Tesco, like you said, if you work there for 10 years, you're in the same spot you were 10 years ago, and then you look at people who are like your age, who are like making a lot of money, you're gonna like mentally get.
Yeah. Is there a point that leads on from that?
I actually have no idea.
No, okay, I get what you're saying. I thought that was like you were gonna.
Wait, so what side are you on? Do you think it's good or bad?
Bad.
Wait,
for everyone involved. But the argument isn't just about whether is bad for men, and it's bad for everybody. Would you argue that it doesn't benefit anyone?
It doesn't benefit. It doesn't. It's not good for yourself, but it's good if you like are making like money from it. Or...
No one really makes good money from it. Again, like Lana Rhoades and Mia Khalifa, they came out of it and they like revealed, I can't remember how much they made, but it wasn't what you would expect. It's not like crazy money, because it's the industries, the specific like companies that have these studios, they take most of the money.
So what do you think like is the next thing to like, how do you think we could stop it?
Well, I don't think you can ever stop it. I think it's more about like conversations about it, and like I think especially for men, it's like really pushed on boys from a young age, because I think if you don't watch it, all your friends think you're gay, and it's like it's just normalized. I mean, when I was younger, like everybody at school would always talk about it, so you can't take it away. It's like alcohol and guns, like they're never going to be gone. But I guess, yeah, talking about it. And thank you for your participation.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
It's good. I like your room.
Thank you. I like your hat.
Thank you.
I'm doing a debate. I don't know if you're down. It depends. You might agree with me. So. Okay, so I'm debating people on whether you believe that is good or bad for society.
I think it's a mix, because like when people develop addictions to it, I think at that point they need help. Okay. And it's not good for society at that point. But like people that watch it every now and again, like obviously people, you want to enjoy yourself sometimes.
Do you not think that you can just jerk off though?
You could, but like people, I don't know. I mean, people like don't have imagination. I don't know.
Yes, they do. That's the problem.
Not everyone.
Yes, they do.
I know so many people that are so boring because their imagination is...
Yes, people have imaginations. What do you think they did in the olden days? They used to just jerk off. Do you think cavemen were like watching... No, they would just jerk off with their hands and use their imagination.
They probably... Yeah, but they might have not even known how to jerk off. They might have just been...
Well, yeah, exactly. So have sex then.
Yeah, but some people can't.
Yes, but like, if you can't have sex, then you can just jerk off. You can just... jerk off. And your point is that it's only bad if it's an addiction. Wouldn't you say though, like that's only then considering the effect that it has on men rather than the effect it has on...
No, because women can be addicted to...
Yeah, but I'm talking about the effects that it has on women as a whole, regardless of consumption. So, like, how women are viewed in society as a result.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's wrong, obviously. Like, I think, like, people should take with a pinch of salt because it's not real. Like,
yeah, but that's ideal, right? That's the ideal mindset, but majority of people don't think that way. You know, the average age that men find it is like 11 and a half. So...
I know, it's bad.
Yeah, so I would argue that, like, yes, in a nice, ideal world, people would be able to distinguish the difference between and reality, but they obviously can't. That's part of the issue.
Yeah. No, I see that, and it is an issue, but, like, it's because people think that everything's like, but it's not. Like, it's all good saying it, but people are never gonna stop thinking.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
people are never gonna, like, that's the entire point, right? That's why, like, people have discussions about it, because people are never going to stop watching it. It's like guns. You can't take guns away. You can't take alcohol or cigarettes away. People are always going to consume it. But yeah, to be you're not too for it, so it's kind of hard to debate.
I know. But the thing is, like, I've got a girlfriend, so I don't watch it. Simple as.
Yeah, that's good. But I would also argue that, like, even without a girlfriend, you would benefit from not watching it.
Yeah. Mentally, physically, all of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for partaking.
No worries. Thank you.
All right.
She's sexy, yeah.
Okay.
How many people have you got watching me right now?
I'm not lying.
Because I'm about to whip my knob out and get you banned.
Okay, please don't do that.
Oh my god, you can't. Oh my god. That camera is beautiful.
Hello.
It's a streamer.
I'm not a streamer.
That camera's crazy quality. Do you the only subscribe to it?
No, I don't do it. Do you ask every girl that?
He does. Every beautiful girl. Oh.
I'm doing a debate video if you want to be part of it.
Oh, what were we debating? I used to be... Okay, what were we debating?
Geography.
Yeah. That's bad. Disgusting. You see?
Oh, cool. So you don't watch then?
No. See, the people with VPNs... Disgusting. I'm not old enough to use the adult version. I don't watch that shit.
Okay, well, we agree then. That's fine. So, no debate. No.
Do they even make for women? Yeah, lesbian.
Do they make for women? Are you dumb?
Lesbian. It's like, what's the word when it's for both genders? Child. No, what's the... Bisexual, bro. No, what's the aftershave word when it's for both genders? Smelly. Oh, what's it called, bro? Unisex. It's unisex. It don't matter what gender you are. Yeah? So what's
wow,
gay
that's
shit?
so inspirational. Thank you.
What if it's gay? Daisy. What's it then? Is that...
So there's no debate here because we were on the same page, right? But you think it's bad and you don't watch it.
It's bad for your brain. It's bad for boys' mental health and women's mental health.
It is.
It makes you sexualize things.
Well done. But you opened up this call by saying, "Do you have an OnlyF?" So
exactly. That's where we draw the line. Yeah. So see what I was doing there. I was looking.
None of you said that was wrong to ask. So
it's him. It's him. You don't know him until you know him. I know that sounds crazy. Let me explain. I was asking because if you did, I would have told you to get off it because it's bad.
But why would you assume that I am?
Oh, that's why I was asking the question.
You're essentially asking me, do you sell, like, do you sell your body? Would you ask someone that in the street? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
On GTA.
If I saw your mum and I was like, oh my God, do you like finger blast yourself for $5.99 a month? Would you be happy with that?
I'm into this because you got eyebrow piercings. Oi! Yeah, don't bring my mum into this.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'll do this to you, bro. And see, that's... I'm skipping her, but she's good.
You look like Mylene in class.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I.
Oh.
If you don't know, get to know.
You know what you look like?
What?
My future ex-girlfriend.
Hi.
Give us a... Yo, you got a buzz cut, yeah?
It's better than whatever's going on there.
Bro, it's him talking, bro.
Hello.
Your camera quality is way too good.
Thank you.
Do you do like streaming or something?
I don't stream, no.
That looks just like a gamer's setup.
Not a gamer.
No, I'll tell you who you look like, actually. You look like Simon Minter's girlfriend or wife now.
Yeah, people have said that.
How come you're on here?
Doing a video.
For?
YouTube.
Am I going to be in the video?
Not if you don't want to be.
No, I'll be in the video.
I'm doing a debate.
On? Oh, I like debating. Come on, bring me the question. Give it to me.
It's about whether you believe is bad for society.
Am I arguing against your point, or am I just giving you my opinion?
Do you agree or do you disagree?
Yes.
You have to pick a blanket. It can't be it's good in some ways and not. It has to be either yes or no.
And wait, sorry, repeat the question.
Is bad for society?
I really don't want to say this, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're on the same team then.
All right, no, let me go no. I'm fighting against you.
No, because I know you don't, like...
No, trust me, I like debating.
Yeah, but I know all the arguments that you could come up with.
Trust me, I promise you now, I'm such an ignorant bastard that I will be able to, just no, I don't agree.
Okay, go on then.
I don't agree because it teaches you, in some respects, how to deal with women.
No, it doesn't. Point
and
blank,
why is
no,
that?
It doesn't.
Why is
Do you
that?
think porn teach... Okay, teach me one thing that teaches men how to, deal with women.
That wasn't necessarily what I was saying.
Okay, what were you saying then?
More saying the fact that if you're into certain types of things that you might not be classed as not normal, that could be normal, but just to a minority of people that are interested in that type of orientation.
You have to be more specific. Are you talking like...
Kinks.
Okay, so it's good for society because there's representation.
That's part of it, I would say.
But this is like the same argument that when people talk about how it's good for society because there's representation for example, disabled people, which you would have to kind of look at it and think, well, if the only representation your has, or same for disability, or same for sexuality, so like gay, for example, you have to question, I guess, society and why is the only representation that you have via... That's ludicrous, right? There's so many ways in getting educated on because when you talk about, in fact, I would argue that pornography is worse for getting education on because there is absolutely no guidebook in about how to safely explore. So say your is choking, right, and you're watching pornography, you are absolutely gonna learn the wrong things from that because if we're talking about choking, for example, it's done wrong. It's done in a way that can cause lasting brain damage. And if young boys, which obviously the average age that men view being 11.5, they're going to learn that's how you choke. So I would disagree with that statement.
Firstly, you said something about representation through... a lot of the reason why that's mainly the representation is because you don't see gay on the street. You wouldn't see gay at a theatre.
We're not
you
talking
wouldn't
about... No, we're talking about sexuality. You're talking about being represented in...
Yeah.
I'm not talking about... I'm talking about the... So choking isn't it is a very different thing. For example, you can partake in choking in the bedroom. I'm not talking about... If I talk about how I partake in choking with my partner during... I'm not talking about... I'm talking about choking. They are two different things. So you shouldn't be you can read about it online. There could be forums where you can talk about it. It shouldn't have to be via that you learn about your...
But I wasn't talking about the choking.
Okay, so be more specific then. What are you talking about?
You said one of your examples was gay, and you said within kinks or genres of or whatever, one of your examples was gay. And you said mostly the way people explore that at the moment is through when there's other ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was more replying to you saying that the good part about, a good thing about would be representation. So my reply was saying that that's the same argument people use about representation. I'm not saying that is purely through... I'm arguing that it is bad that those representations are through... In fact, for example, coming back to gay relations, it's harmful, actually, if young gay people get their knowledge from... I would argue that it would be better to explore other avenues for representation rather than...
And what examples have you got of that?
Well, this is my point. My point is, if there is a lack of representation for gay people, or for people with specific... or for disabled people, then that's a societal issue. That should be what we're tackling. I'm not saying that I've got a plethora of ideas for how gay people can feel, I guess, represented. But is 100% not the answer for that. And that's the root issue that I guess should be tackled.
It may not be the answer, but at the moment, I think it's the best one we've got. And like,
you can't say it's the best. You cannot say it's the best when, in general, it's been proven it's terrible for your brain. It does. I couldn't actually specifically tell you what chemical it is that it with, but it's not like a secret that it's bad for your head. So it's not good for your brain chemically. It's not actually teaching you anything, because we all know that is unrealistic. I mean, especially gay isn't, an exception. I would say actually it's equally as bad as just normal. If you think about, not to get into details about gay, but I guarantee you they are not prepping, young gay people for how to have gay. It's just rough gay where people aren't learning how you prepare to have gay. It's not teaching them that. It's just teaching them you have to have a massive to have, and this is how long you're going to last, because obviously pushes the idea that men have to have massive and last like an hour in the bedroom. So I don't know how you could say that it is the best form of representation.
Do you not think that we don't always necessarily need an answer for things, and sometimes it's actually normal to discover things like that through your own mistakes and own choice? So like, obviously, I mean, I understand that the more advanced we get, the more intelligent we get, we always want to have the best solution or the easiest outcome or whatever it may be. But like, I feel like we're going so far from nature and the whole idea of the way we do things. It shouldn't always have to have, this is a direct answer, this is the best way to do it. And I think that a lot of people, like say for example myself, I had watched porn before I had lost my virginity, and I had seen the videos where they choke bondage or whatever it is. But at the same time, I feel like is a massive part of humanity. There's a very big thing of common sense and intelligence. And I don't think I know. I feel as though you're going to say there's not, but you've got to be a very stupid, extremely stupid type of person to say, for example, if the choke someone so hard to the point where they injure something in their neck, and that person that is being choked surely must have some kind of reaction of you starting to damage it. But when you choke someone, you don't just damage them, like it's not like a bang sort of thing. It's got to be over when I say a prolonged period of time, I don't mean for ages, but I mean a few seconds or whatever the case may be. If whether that's a man or woman, if they start kicking their legs or doing something and clearly show they're in distress, that should be enough for you to be like, I'm clearly doing this wrong. And if you don't think that, I don't think that's a problem, or I don't think that's them to blame. I think that's just for you being a total idiot and not understanding.
Okay. Well, you said then there at the beginning that you have to be a total moron, total idiot, whatever word.
Yeah.
Or you have to be a child, which, as I said, the average age that people access is 11. So an 11-year-old that's never even seen a or boobs isn't going to be like, oh, her reaction to being choked isn't what I would expect. But even forgetting that, that's like forgetting that in like really rough, so if you have like extreme bondage where it's like gangbang with like 10 men and 1 girl, I would say that actually in those types of videos, I would say that they do physically recoil. I would say a lot of the acts that are done to them, like you have videos where they're like pissing in their mouths and they're like vomiting. So yeah, I would say that like they do react to say like, you have ones where it's really violent and they're covered in marks and they're like crying. I would say that is a reaction. But this is the thing. People are getting off to that. That's the issue because of desensitization, and you also mentioned about how, people want an answer for everything. But I would disagree with that when it comes to, I would say that now we have an answer for a lot of behaviors in both men and women, because, for some reason it's this like whole image that only men watch and only boys grow up watching, but like I was watching when I was 13. And I don't think that people are trying to, blame things on. I think that we've looked at ourselves as a society and we've been like, okay, there is a growing issue in young women and in young men and how women are viewed and how men feel about themselves, feel about their bodies, feel about their ability to have. And we've gone, okay, well, what's like the one thing that has been growing, has been increasing, has been more and more accessible, and that's so. It's not even like people are plucking that out of the air. You know, there's been loads of studies to show that it is bad for your brain. It's bad for how men view women. It's bad for how men view themselves. It's bad for how women view themselves. So I don't think it's necessarily, you know, saying, because people always argue this, okay, but, you know, society grows and things change, and they try and kind of compare to just how technology develops. But again, I don't think, would you say then that we should accept the kind of recent development of AI and how now people can generate AI images of women? Because, you know, in your argument, that is just something that's coming with time and with technology, and we shouldn't necessarily look too deeply into it. Whereas I think that's obviously ridiculous, because we all know that the damage it's going to do. And again, I would just say that there's too many links to, I think, how our society is failing now because of, I think a lot of things come down to young people coming across, obviously, if the age is 11, these people don't know what they're looking at. They don't have an adult brain. And more often than not, these kids are then watching it and then they're going off and trying to recreate things to other people their age, which is a whole other issue. So,
I mean, I do agree with a lot of what you've just said, but there's like the one thing that you said about how like you have all like the extremist videos and whatever else, and you say there's women or men or whatever crying or doing these acts.
yeah.
Right. I'm sure you're smart enough to know that to make a video, right, you have agreements. That person, whether and I know this sounds bad, but whether in the video they look like they're enjoying it or not, they knowingly have signed an agreement that has a script which tells them what's going to happen to them, what the other people going.
That's not true.
So you're saying it's.
Well, first of all, I would argue that I think by being able to pay, so they're getting paid, right? And
Sure.
people say that because they're being paid and because they agree that that's consent. I mean, a big thing that I argue, which a lot of people think is extreme, that you can't buy consent. I personally think that removes the entire point of consent. Like, consent has to be continuous and ongoing. I think when people are doing stuff for money, it's because they need the money. I think we can all agree that people aren't going on to sets because it's fun. It's not fun. And a lot of the people that do get paid and do agree to it, you know, people, Mia Khalifa, Lana Rhoades, first of all, they get clowned on so heavily because they've come out now and said, actually, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I think it was Lana Rhoades that said she didn't want to do it, and within her first day on set, she was doing it because it was like this continuous pressure, because they're like, we're going to drop you, you know, if you're not going to do it. You know, once you've already got everything out on a set and people know who you are, it's not as easy then to just walk away, because it's like, well, you still need money and your like toll is out for the world to see now anyway. So no, I'm not saying that it is like directly rape. I wouldn't say that's like fair to say, especially, you know, to people that have been, but I wouldn't say that like it's enthusiastic consent. And I would argue that if someone sits there and says, well, I don't mind watching a woman get absolutely like annihilated and have people like piss in her asshole because she signed up for it, I would question like the morals behind that person.
Yeah, it's right. When let me compare it to something that's easier, right? Let's just say, for example, you'll go into work at a job at Tesco,
Right.
right? You get given a contract or whatever, right? And they say within this, and I know the scenarios are much more extremer, but they say to you, you're going to be stacking shelves, right? And you're like, yeah, great. Let's just say this person's got anxiety, right? And they're like, stacking shelves is perfect for me. I've only got to stack shelves. I ain't got to talk to no one. One day into the job, you're halfway through stacking shelves and your boss says to you, look, you've got to get onto the till right now because we're busy. If not, you're getting sacked, right? If you've signed a contract to work there and you're getting paid for it, and I know you believe in consent being ongoing, it might not be more.
That's the definition of consent, though. That's
That's
not what I believe. It's the legal definition of consent is it has to be continuous, enthusiastic, and ongoing.
Right, and let's just say halfway through one of these videos that the girl goes, no, I'm not doing this now, it's over with, do you then think they're going to continue to carry on?
Well, like, do I think they're going to, like, hold it and have sex with her? No, obviously not.
So my point being is, I understand what you're saying, but they're gonna say they're gonna drop her.
By that comparison, then you're saying that consent is only broken if you're like viciously carrying on, but that's not the case, because there are loads of examples where consent isn't directly like, it's not like been directly broken, but I would say that it's still like, I wouldn't even say morally ambiguous, I would say that it's still. But I also think like this whole like point is now getting into the minutia of whether it's or not. But I think this alone is proof that clearly it's got its problems. I mean, if we have to debate whether it's technically based off of what it looks like, I would say that that's part of the issue. Now, I know at the beginning it sounded like you were going to imply that the most violent is also maybe rare, or it's not even the main that people are consuming, but that's also false, because the that you're thinking of is called gonzo, and it's basically violent. So like whether it's like verbally violent or like physically violent, and that is the majority of. Now people like to say to me, oh, but you know, sometimes there's nice on there. What if it's you know, a man giving a woman head? Who do you think's jerking off to that? Like, nobody's jerking off to that. Women might be. Men aren't searching up like, oh, man making girl come and then not making himself come. He's just so selfless and he loves her so much. Nobody's watching loving. That's, and like people try and argue with me, well, I do, but the stats prove otherwise. That's not what people are watching. People are watching like violent, hardcore stuff. So it doesn't really, to me, like, yes, it matters whether it's actual or not. Of course it does. But I think if people are arguing, you know, is it if X, Y, Z, I would say that is part of the issue, because that shouldn't be, that you shouldn't be watching and being like, you know, I'm glad there's a contract behind the scenes, because otherwise I think this is. You know, I think that's the problem, because that's what people are coming across. That's what kids are coming across.
Yes, but I'm not really. It's not really, for me. It's not really to do with the bridge of whether is it not? Is this just beyond? Is this just slightly held back from? It's more so the fact of just. I think it's just our disagreement in how we conceive consent. And what you've just said, I do quite agree with. But it, like, say for example, and I know we're talking about and stuff, but in real life, I wouldn't be having intercourse with a girl and every 2 minutes going, do you still consent to this? Do you still consent to this? Do you still consent to this? Because I understand what you're saying, and I do get it, but we've also got to be realistic from both sides, realistic from your side and also realistic from my side.
But when I'm having, I also don't say to my partner every 5 seconds, do you consent to this? Do you consent to this? It's about like reading the room, right? Yes, I agree that people say all the time, oh, consent is black and white. And I agree that it isn't fully black and white, because when if I make advances on my partner, I'm not like, can I touch your? It's like, I just don't do that. And he doesn't do the same to me. So therefore, by definition, you could argue that actually that's assault because we've touched each other without consent. And I do agree that that is the nuance to it. It isn't assault to do that. But if we go back to your comparison, which is if it looks unconsensual, but it's not because there's a contract, then we're talking about reading the room. We're talking about what does it look like. And the thing is with any form of media is it doesn't matter like it's like, okay, the way I describe it is talking about like MAGA, for example. I know it's like really unrelated, but people talk about how, like, we know that, well, I hope we know that, like, Trump is a moron, right? And I think that MAGA is, they're all delusional and stupid, and half of the things they stand for is, but, like, MAGA propaganda is, like, a real thing, like, and this is why people get sucked into it, because they think, you know, they see something and then they believe in it. So when it comes to, like, believing that images don't have effect, or like us seeing, for example, I guess consensual, non-consensual, so which I would say that is the majority of is consensual, non-consensual. And it's easy to say, well, it's not actually, but it's about the message that we see. Everything that we see impacts us. And it's the same with politics. That's why Trump has such a huge following, because he's stupid, but the messages that people are receiving through him, whether they're true or not, like, people like him. And that's how, like, propaganda, my point is, propaganda in general is proof that we absorb, like, the subtext of the media that we're consuming. So it doesn't actually matter. We can agree to disagree on whether is technically through paid consent, but it's the fact that what you're absorbing, what people are being taught, like, what is teaching people? What is teaching men? It's teaching men that women like to be called sluts and they like to be slapped in the face and they like to have on their face. No one likes to have on their face. I'm sorry to kill people's delusions, but women are out there like, oh my God. And if they say they like that, it's because they like to please their man. Like, it's this idea where women are like, oh my God, yeah, but I love that though. It's like, no, you like pleasing your man. You like the validation from your man. You physically don't get pleasure from having on your face. And it's like probably one of like the most degrading things you can do. Now, I'm not shading on people that want to do that. I think there's bigger problems in life. But my point is it teaches, first of all, it teaches men to be insecure about themselves, how long they last, their size. It teaches women to hate their boobs, their whatever. And then it teaches young people that this is how people have. And, you know, I'm not just saying this as some prude who's never seen. I was watching really young, and that's definitely everything that I absorbed was that, like, women have sex with men for men's pleasure. That's what it's for. And yeah, in a nice ideal world, we could all sit there and watch it and be like, oh, this is lovely, everyone's consenting, but that's just not realistic. And I think it's about, like, being realistic. So that would be my point.
Do you know what? I do agree with you on all of that. I'll definitely give that to you. You're an intelligent person. My final point before I go, just to sum this all up, would be that I think the industry is definitely got a lot to blame, but I think the people signing up for it, men and women, are the ones to blame the most, because without them being the ones to sign up for it for the money, then I think the whole industry wouldn't have 99% even of an opportunity to put them videos out there. If there was no stars, whether that was men or women.
So do you think then in any industry, it's the producers to blame and not the consumers? I cannot hear you. Okay, that's fine. Well,
You.
all
Goodbye.
Right. See you later. Bye.
I know you.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do
From
you know me?
Instagram. From YouTube.
From
Yeah,
YouTube?
of course I know you.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Yeah, I'm doing a
Hello.
YouTube.
Wow.
I'm doing a YouTube video right now.
Oh, really? What's
Yeah.
it about?
Debating people.
On what? Okay, I'm down.
Well, you might agree with me. If you follow me, you must agree with me. And if you don't, I'd question why you follow me.
I mean, I don't agree with you on everything.
Okay. Well, I'm debating people that is inherently bad for society.
Okay, to what extent?
There's no argument that could make okay for society.
I mean, I do agree that it's really damaging, but also it is not like he's the devil. I think that there are some parts of that are not going to damage you in the way that you usually argue in your videos.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of that just focus on doing damage, physical and psychological damage, like humiliating and choking people, all of that. I think that is inherently wrong, and it really can fuck up your mind for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so could you give me an example of how, like, you think that wouldn't be bad?
I mean, how do you feel about this that's focused on women exclusively, like erotica, for like this category of that's made, let's say, for women, like seductive? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think, interestingly, I would start with saying the fact that there is a separate category for women kind of pinpoints the issue for me. The fact that there is a category that is deemed, I guess, less aggressive and more sensual is part of the issue. I mean, that's like, if it was just about sex, I think there would be less of an issue. But obviously, I would argue that for men or just general, obviously isn't for women because it isn't sensual and it's like focused on male pleasure. So I'd say that's the first issue I have with that. But first of all, I always say there's no such thing as ethical, just because of what the consumption does to your mind and, you know, how you view others, regardless of whether it's more ethical. Because I have this question, like, people say a lot, what about, you know, for example, like, what about a video of like a man making a girl by like giving her head, right? In theory, like, that's not that's not as bad as like a gangbang with like 10 men and 1 woman. But the thing is,
sure.
people aren't watching that, right? That's not what people are consuming. People aren't men aren't really typing in online like man making woman. Like no one's really after that. If that could be the case, if the majority of men were focused on that is about both people's pleasure and it isn't violent, then I would say that that would definitely be an improvement. But do I think it's good? No, because it's still accessible to young people. You know, as a whole, being accessed at the age of like 11 and a half, I think the average age that people view it is. I would say that it doesn't really matter whether it's, you know, just regular or for women, if that's what people are, if that's what kids are viewing. Obviously, it would be better for a kid to accidentally come across that than like violent, obviously. But I think when people bring up, because people talk about anime as well, because they're like, well, there's no real people in it. I think what it does to the brain is it's still there. Like, humans should be able to jerk off to their imagination. And the point is no one can do that anymore because they're too reliant on images. And people will argue, oh, well, men are visual creatures. I wouldn't say that men are any more visual creatures than women are.
Yeah, not at all, yeah.
And I think, again, like the effect, and I mean, especially because people bring up, I know this isn't what you said, but people bring up anime because there's no people in it. But anime is another thing that perpetuates, okay, they're characters, but the whole like body type of like anime women is completely unrealistic. And the reason why
fantasies are up,
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think if we could have that's made for women be the only available, I think that would be a hugely great step. And I think because we can't get rid of it, you can't get rid of it. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think if you could have it so that was the main that people were accessing, I think that would be a huge win. But again, it's like, what if? Like, that's never going to happen because that's not what people want to watch because people get desensitized to it and then they move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and I know there are a lot of studies about how like messes with your brain, and they're not entirely conclusive, but many of them really argue that no matter what kind of you're watching, it really messes with your with the way your brain produces certain hormones and all of that. So I do agree with you on that, and I do believe that we need to ban social media or in general access to the internet for children, like what they're doing in Sweden. I believe they're banning social media for under 15-year-olds, or 12-year-olds, something like that. And I do agree with that. I don't think a child should be able to access social media because what you're saying is true. It is impossible to avoid the fact that on Twitter, on Instagram, there's softcore, there's literally hardcore on Twitter right now. It's so easily to access, and that really, I think, to maybe for us that we are, like adults, it's like we can differentiate and then what we watch and what we don't watch. But for a child, I think that's really damaging, especially for like 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds who are just, growing up.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think social media is one of the biggest issues because, I mean, like the things with, Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue who are putting
that's crazy,
their, OnlyF stuff is now on social media. And, I think I have cousins that are like 11, 12, and I just think like if I'm seeing this, and I don't follow any accounts like that, and I get pushed that kind of stuff. So they will see it. And I think, like I said, you can't ban, but you can definitely start, I think, at the root, which is like education with kids. And I think schools need to do a better job of teaching kids about like internet safety, specifically. Like, I know it's like a difficult one because people are arguing like, what age do you talk to kids about it? But if kids are accessing it at 11, I like clearly they need to be like kids need to know what it is ideally before they come across it. That's not meaning to say you have to give them a in-depth lesson about it, but they need to know like you will come across stuff online and like it isn't realistic, it isn't real. And I think that's just the best way. I think people that are raised that way as well are more likely to choose not to watch it. Whereas if you have free internet access as a child, you're going to come across it, you're going to think, oh well, this is normal. So no, I agree with you.
Yeah, there are two ways to do that. Like sometimes there are schools who give that education, you have the class, they teach you about condoms and all that. I think should be part of that class, and parents should be more responsible of of their kids. Like you can't give a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old a cell phone with free access to the internet. That is insane to me.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Yeah.
We hear about iPad kids all the time. That the internet is like raising your kid. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we seem to agree on most things. So you're very intelligent.
Yeah.
It was a very good conversation. I do have to move on to
Yeah,
the
it
next
was really
one,
good to. Yeah, it was really good to finally, talk to you.
All right. Well, lovely to talk to you. Have a nice night.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
And you.
Who are you saying, gorgeous? He's a streamer.
Hi. I'm not a streamer.
So you're recording for a video?
Yeah.
What can I do to make the video?
I'm doing debates, so it depends if you can debate.
Wait, what topics? I'll be honest, I'm not intellectual.
That's fine.
What?
I don't know, the stool's coming out. Is this part of it?
Don't go anywhere. I just need to little just gonna prep me up.
Okay.
I don't know. Wait, what are we going to talk about? How's the fire gone out as well, man? Let's talk. The fire's gone out.
Okay, so the statement is that is inherently bad for society. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Oh, well, there we are. Debate over. Thank you very much for your time.
Wait.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I'm Tats.
Thank you. I'm doing debates.
Oh, God, debate. What are we debating?
So
Hello?
you're over 18, right?
Yeah, I'm Unk.
Okay. So I'm debating. Well, my claim, is that is inherently bad for society.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with it, but it doesn't stop me watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So there wouldn't be the debate would be.
So you watch then?
Obviously, yeah.
Why is that obvious?
Because who doesn't?
Okay. So you said that you know it's inherently bad. Why do you think it's bad?
It's toxic because it's not having. I'm sure you've had sex before. It's not real. Like it's unrealistic. That's why it's toxic.
Okay, and it's also bad for your brain, just in general. It's bad. It does things to your serotonin levels. It means you won't be able to perform as well with a woman.
Yeah, I've nearly not had that experience, but I guess it's could be true for some beta males.
No. And did you know the average age that people access is 11 and a half?
Yeah, I can remember the first time I did. I found my uncle's mag when I was, I don't know, about 10, 11. I loved it.
That's not a good thing. That's sad.
It's not. It was the best find of my life when I was that age, actually. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it does bad things to your brain.
I know, my brain's fucked, honestly.
What about what it does to women? What about what it does to women and how women are viewed because of it?
I don't know, but I've been with girls who have actually told me they watch, but they watch
Yeah, of course. Most girls have
lesbian.
Most girls have watched. I watched like loads in my life.
Did you feel like it had a negative connotation when you watched it? Did you feel like it was like?
Yeah, of course it did.
Did you feel dirty after?
It's not an individualistic experience to feel affected by. It's a scientific fact. You will be affected by it, whether you think you are or not.
Yeah, facts.
But you're fine with
Maybe
that.
I should stop, but I'd rather just make my own personally. Like, is that toxic?
Well, it's about considering, the wider effects. It's not all about you, It's not all about you and whether you think it's toxic or not. It's about.
Yeah, I guess
It's about how it subconsciously makes you view women, and and maybe you think you're okay with it because your brain maybe is old enough to handle what you're seeing, but it's children that access it, so
Yeah, it is a bit toxic. Like I do agree.
But that's not enough to make
It's not healthy. No, I don't really watch it often, but if you're not adult in a while, why not?
So you can't just jerk off with your imagination.
No, I mean you can, but
that's the issue though. If you can't, that's how humans were made. You're meant to be able to jerk off to your imagination. If you can't do that, then you've got an issue, my friend, that you need to address.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, why would I jerk off?
But you just said you watch.
Yeah, obviously I do both. I don't know, there's no real answer why you watch it, is there? It's just, you just do.
Yeah, but I asked you, do you think it's bad? And you said it is.
Potentially toxic, yeah.
It's not potentially toxic, it is toxic. It's proven to be toxic.
Lovely.
You just don't have an answer, do you? Because
No, how could I answer that?
So are you accepting then that you're a hypocrite?
Potentially.
Okay, that's fair.
I like to, what's the saying? Oh, there's a saying, but I forgot it, whatever.
Well, I mean, that's a good start, that you know that you're a hypocrite.
Why have you got like a hatred towards, what's made you think like this?
It's not necessarily, well, yeah, it is a hatred towards.
Yeah, it is. Who's hurt you? Who hurt you?
Well, First of all, that's a very silly mindset to have, that something must have hurt me for me to be against something that is inherently wrong.
No,
and
it was a joke. It was a joke, right?
Yeah, you say that, but that's the mindset of a lot of people. They assume that I have to have been negatively affected to have an opinion on it.
What's your views on in regards to effects on girls who maybe not as successful as they thought they would be going into it?
I think is wrong. I think is presented to be something that is glamorous to women, but it's not. The average girl makes $115 on
Oh, bless them. Imagine like going into your career thinking, yeah,
and you might find it
rich.
funny from an outside perspective, but they're not led to believe that it's an easy job from any other source other than women themselves. Like Bonnie Blue, for example, presenting the idea that it's really easy and it's good money.
Oh, she is epitome of like the bottom tier of society. I hate her. She's such a horrible human being.
But she's only doing what she does. Like, I'm not defending her. I hate her.
Yeah, but she does it like she does it in a way that's vulgar and literally like disgusting.
What
like,
do you mean vulgar? That's what men are vulgar in.
No.
Yeah.
He's not getting run through by 1,000 people in a day. That's the whole different level.
Do you understand what it is?
Yes,
of course they are.
I've never watched 1,000 in one.
The men, no, not in one day, but like it doesn't, like the numbers. What's the numbers got to do? The numbers have got nothing to do with it. The that you're watching, the women that are in those videos, the men that are in those videos have probably got an equal body count, but just spread out over a certain amount of time. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, it does.
It doesn't.
Because they're not getting queued up on, are they? Like it's way worse.
But you can't be against Bonnie Blue and then not be against in general. That doesn't make any sense.
She's a real slapper.
She's just a slapper, yeah, you're right.
That's not constructive or
helpful. How can I not be against Bonnie Blue?
Because you're not against. You can't be against her and then not. That's like ludicrous and just unintelligent, and it's just not like you can't.
But what she does though, in regards to, is different, isn't it? Like,
no,
it's not just porn.
She's not the first.
Like, if she just did videos, yeah, fairs, but she does like ridiculous stunts to get attention.
She's not the originator of what she does. This whole like going to freshers and doing barely legal content has been done before. It was done by a man called Joe Francis. He did this. It was called Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah,
he went round recording girls.
It was the 1,000 in a day, I think, that was the issue. So
you have an issue with 1,000 in a day, but you don't have an issue with stars having with maybe 10,000 in a year.
I feel sorry for her more than anything.
What do you mean?
That she feels that's like a thing you should do with your life.
Loads of other stars do it. You don't have a problem with them. I don't understand why that's.
Respect it though. Chase the bag, like get a bag. She's probably a millionaire now, so I'm gonna respect it. I don't hate on that. I just feel sorry for her.
You called her a slapper.
No idea.
Well, if I walked up to her face and called her a slapper, she'd probably openly admit it.
You wouldn't go up to her and call her a slapper though.
No, obviously I wouldn't. But what I'm saying is, if I did, she would probably accept it and say, "Yeah, I am."
No, she does that because it's her marketing technique. She calls herself like, yeah, that's what she does. But she's,
exactly.
She's still a person.
So I wasn't far wrong. But imagine being the guy that has to try and settle down with that. Jesus Christ.
Like all the stars.
Imagine how much her DNA's been altered.
Like all of the stars that you watch and jerk off to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be settling down with a porn star. That's a.
So they're good to jerk off to, but like human being wise.
Yeah, they serve the purpose, but they're not wife material, are they? Let's be honest.
Do you know, like, do you understand what you just said?
They're not wife material.
No, you said they served their purpose. Do you know what like that means?
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what stars do. They perform. They look. They do in bed. Like that's what they do. That's what they do. Because they're good at it.
They're not. What? What do you mean they're good at it?
They're good at it. Like I mean exactly what I said.
It's fake, my friend. You know that, right? It's acting.
But what they're doing, like what they choose to do, they're actually like good at it.
No, it's acting.
I couldn't do it. Put it this way, I couldn't do it.
It's acting. It's not real. That's why they seem good at. Like you're equating now good acts with that doesn't make any sense when it's not actual.
It's something.
You're just unintelligent, so this is never gonna work.
I'm unintelligent. Okay.